What's up, everybody? This is Herschel from High School Top 200, and this is the Top 200 podcast. Just welcome everyone here. Remember, if you're new to this, do all that YouTube stuff. People are telling me that it's like, man, you should be like those reactors. I was like, yeah, I don't talk like that. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys that just like all big and animated, all that kind of stuff. I was like, nah, not at all. But like and subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Share it with your friends. Let people know that there's First 15 being covered every week, all year as well. Like even in the off season, I got a lot of stuff to talk about. I talk a lot. I can talk a lot. I can break down First 15 rugby just in so many ways, and I have so many discussions on how I want to like grow First 15 rugby. That's kind of what it is. That's kind of what I'm doing, and this is just one of the ways in which I'm doing. So like I want to, I want to be able to put high school sports as a whole. I want to do that. Like I want to put high school sports as a whole right in front. I want it to be mainstream. I want kids to be talked about mainstream. I want kids to be praised and exposed and celebrated for all the sacrifice and hard work that they put into this, because it's not easy. And even parents that are right there next to their kids, helping them along, will also agree with me that when kids get serious about stuff like this, they're putting everything into it. And so to me, I want to be able to give them that limelight while they have it, and before they become superstars, and before they become stars, and professional rugby players and netball players and league players and college basketball players and whatever, and move on to the Commonwealth Games and Olympics and stuff like that. I want to be able to get them started here and get them on the mainstream here. And so that's something that I want to do with high school sports. And I'm just starting with First 15 rugby, and because rugby's our main sport. I mean, I've told a lot of people before, and I've told even on here, it's just like, if it was anything, basketball would be my first sport. And I'd be doing girls and boys basketball too, because I just love basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. But yeah, I'm obviously I'm leading off with rugby first, but I mean, that's where I need financial help from companies that also think and feel the same way as I do about high school sports, and that want to jump on board with me and help me build what I know would lead our sports as a nation into such a higher level. I mean, we always talk about it, like and I hate this point of view, but we just have it as a nation, that we always like to take the smaller nation, the small man syndrome kind of, we punch above our weight kind of thing as a small country. I was like, man, I don't care about that rubbish. It's like I never go into a game or start watching a game and thinking, oh, well, they're the smaller ones. It's like, no, you're on the same field, same. It's like, whatever you're doing to be your best, then you be your best. Who cares who it is? I don't even care if it's like the Tall Blacks and the USA team in basketball. Like, I don't care about that. Just like we don't care, or that they don't care. It's just like that we play the USA Eagles team. We're the All Blacks. It's like, no. Why make excuses about that kind of stuff? And I hate that point of view. I hate taking that route. Even when we play Australia, like when the Kiwis and Kangaroos come together, it's just like, no, I don't care who they are. It's just like, let's get out there and just smash them. Let's do what we do as sportsmen and smash them. I mean, look at Valerie Adams. Look at Scott Dixon, who we never talk about. He's one of the greatest of all time over there, and we don't talk about him. But when we always have that small man mentality, or small sports and small country mentality, it's like, man, stuff that. It's like, we're freaking New Zealand, man. We do good for sports, but I think we can do better. We're up there in cricket, we're up there in netball, we're up there in league, we're up there in rugby, we're up there in rowing. We athletics is, especially with our girls that we have in athletics, it's great. We smash it at softball. So for me, it's just like, well, why do we have to talk from that point of view? It's not really my thing anyway. Like, I hate that kind of stuff. I hate that kind of talk. And so getting into this and getting um into first 15 rugby and into high school sports, I want to be able to put our country up there and have the funds and have the money and have the finance and also the coaches to go along with all of those to be trained up enough that we're punching at a world level as well on all of our sports. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm willing to help out any sports, and I need that backing from people. But there's a massive audience here, and just no one else really seems to really grasp onto it, I think. But I mean, if you're out there and you really want to jump on, and my vision to get it done, and my vision to do it, and it's easy. It's not a hard thing anymore. Like, I've been doing this for 7 years, and I could jump into any single sport and just get it up and going and find all the top players in the country in any sport that I wanted to. It's that easy for me. And just put them all out there on blast. Put them all out there and just start writing about them, profiling them, studying the players, finding all the new talent coming through. I love, man, that stuff's easy. I just need the financial backing. That's really what it is. And I think in the small year of like 5 years, when we start getting all that kind of stuff going, our sports will be way up there. And it's already like that. It's already like that right now. We just need to push it faster. We just need to be. I think we just need to execute it better. Execute all these sports better, like basketball and that. Too many volleyball players that I think are good that go along, just sort of fall along the wayside, and maybe should be in the States or in Europe playing. I think there's ones like that. I think there's maybe an unpopular one, but I think there's a lot of softball players, like especially the boys who can, I don't know, get that training just to transition into baseball and get them over to the States as well. Get soccer kids moving over to different parts of the country, other parts of the world where their talents can be better utilized and better taught. And even with NCAA basketball players, girls and boys, I really think we should bring them back. Like, when they're finished and the opportunity is done, bring them back to New Zealand and coach our kids the way that they were taught at their different universities, because they're going to be at different universities. They got different ways of playing and different styles, and we can learn different ways of playing and different systems and stuff like that. Like, New Zealand to me don't have a system yet of our own that we're used to playing, and I think we should develop one that the whole country can, I guess, jump on board and be a part of, and I guess show the world as well. And like I said, I've talked about it before, where I think we're in a great position. I want to get my mate on here, a few of my mates who talk a lot about basketball as well, and we have good arguments. He's a real idiot, but I like him. He's one of my good mates, and so we'll get him on here soon. We'll go through the games. We'll go through some of the games that were. I mean, for example, Timaru. That game against Waitaki, that was my second time or third time watching Timaru, and my first time watching Waitaki boys, and it is pretty much. No, I can't say it's pretty much what I thought they were going to be, but I knew it was going to be a big score. 90 points was not what I was expecting, but um, it was. I don't know how to really explain it, because it's, if you've been to a 90-point game before, which I have, and it wasn't the game that I was in. It's just, I've been to one before where it's, no, I maybe not ran up to 90, maybe 80 or 70, high 70s. It's a lot of. I think if you put all the kicking timeouts for like kicks together, that's a long time. So there's a lot of discussions under those. I guess under the goalposts, and a lot of, I don't know. Hey, I don't know what when it turns from we're still in this game. Like, when does it turn negative? Like, there's got to be a point where that turns negative. Like, what points does it turn negative? And where you just when you just run out of things to say, or run out of positive words, or run out of boys were still in it kind of thing, or because it usually goes from like, no worries, let's get back to our system, let's do what we're supposed to do, a couple of tries, and then I guess it comes back. It's like, we can still do this, or second half was like, that kind of stuff. It's it's 0-all kind of talk, which I always hated. Saying something was 0-all, like, yeah, it's 0-all. It's like, yeah, it's not. And then there's what's the other one? Do it for the pride, do it for the jersey, do it for the school, all that kind of stuff goes on. But then there's got to be a point where it's just like, man, if we're useless, or you suck, or you can't tackle, or something like that, there's got to be a point where there's, and I'm not trying to say that this is a Waitaki, I'm just saying that when does it go from talk to then just nothing, and just standing under the goalpost and just hope that everyone makes the next tackle, or something like that, or you make the next tackle, or if you miss, I mean, because obviously there's a lot of missed tackles. I don't want to know what that number is of missed tackles, but there's 90 points, so there's a bunch of missed tackles. And it just seemed like they just had bloody bus lanes open for the way that they scored some of their tries, and it was sad to watch too, in a way. Like, I mean, I think because I watch everybody around the country and I keep an eye on everybody, I've seen Waitaki on the good years and better years, and what they're doing this year is just not it's not usually what they are like. And so, like, for people that did watch that game, or that are sort of taking notice of other teams around the country that you'd never really take, this is not what Waitaki is about. They're not really like this. And so it's just one of those years. But Timaru blew up. Timaru did what they were supposed to do, and they got their points. And yeah, it's sad. Like, it's sad for a traditional game that they're used to having. And I don't know what the conversation is when you drive back. But it can't be a good one. I also watched the Kaitaia and Kirikiri High School one as well. Kirikiri was sharp. Really good sides up there. I guess just the distance, I'd love to see them come down, especially Kirikiri. I'd love to see them come down and play some other teams. And I mean, I guess it's pretty unrealistic to have, or to get them to join into the North Harbour one, because that distance from Manurewa, I guess, all the way up to Kirikiri has got to be some distance. As sort of the lowest, a furthest way traveled team, I guess. So I don't know, but Kirikiri's always got a lot of talent up there. Always got a lot of good boys that are good sevens players and good sevens runners that are just skillful players. But yeah, I thought that was a really good game too. That Napier one yesterday was good, and it's I know that Palmy's ranked 4th. And this is the second time I've seen them lose. Actually, no, third time I've seen them lose. And I don't think they were bad. I just think that Napier were better. I actually don't think they played bad. They had some bad decision making. Bad decision making was what lost them the game. I don't think it was like bad play or anything like that. It was just decision making, like sort of moments in games where that one moment cost you a try, or that one moment left you wide open, or that one moment caught you off guard. And then I think it was like a few points of those that were on Palmy's team, or that one Palmy side where they sort of did things like that, and then it's just like, those are hard kind of points to make up when they score off moments of, I guess, silly decisions and bad decisions. And that's kind of what I think it was that got Napier on a roll. They just saw what it was and then capitalized on it. And they capitalizing when they did capitalize on it, it turned into points. It didn't turn into momentum, because like that kind of stuff can always be stopped. It turned into points, and so that's kind of like the harder thing to recover from, is that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, you still had obviously Luffle trying to bump off everybody from 1 to 15 in a blue jersey and a sky blue jersey, and that was like the crazy. That was so strange to see Luffle just bump everybody off, and he wasn't really going forward. He was kind of going to the side, but it was like Jonah Lomu Rugby just bump, 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 and bumped, and he bumped off 2 guys twice. Like, they had a go, got bumped off, or we broke their tackle. Then they tried to have a go at him again, and he still bumped them off. I thought that was pretty funny by Luffle, and he had a massive game. And I mean, I guess even Elijah played really good. Of course, Afa was really good. Jaden was also was really good in that with Ethan, and I kind of think, it was good because these are guys that I talk about, and you got to see a lot of these guys in the way that I see them. Jaden was also, I thought Jaden was really good. Ethan Ethan's not a guy, and this is for people that are going to play him. Don't give him any kind of space. Don't think that you can disguise a gap and then close him out on it. Like, it doesn't always happen. And if you're just a little bit too slow, he's going to burn you off, or he's going to step you, or he's going to do something like that, and he's always moving. And he doesn't die. He doesn't die with the ball on contact, or if he feels someone grab it, he won't die with like, you have to actually tackle him, because then he'll try and drag you. He's not even like a big guy at all. But if you try and tackle him, drag him or hold him by a jersey or something like that, he's not just going to let up and just fall to the ground. He's just going to try and break your tackle. And that's one of the things I really like him. And Luffle's kind of the same as well. Like, you saw Luffle today and how fast he was for a big, stocky, massive dude like him. He's like another one of those guys as well. But I mean, Napier was just way better on the day, and everything that they did was pretty. I think it's just the way that they wanted to play. I guess that's a perfect game for them. Got away a little bit away at the end, but I mean, that's when I guess the other team gets desperate and they just try different things and push passes and just to see what comes up, and then obviously that's why different tries come about. But yeah, those are some of the games that have already passed. Now we got all the games coming up tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is to talk about these in the rankings. So, number 1 team in the country, Hamilton Boys, plays Hastings, which I think Hamilton is going to win, and probably by quite a bit. Hastings have just got to make sure that Hamilton don't run away with this and make it such a massive score. Because Hamilton can do that to you as well. Especially in that second half. If anything, try and keep them scoreless in the first half, because in the second half they're really going to put the pressure on. So if you can do that and just minimize that points, and then really step your game up in the second half and match the intensity and their fitness and speed, then I think you're going to be okay. And just be physical with them as well. That's the way I would do it. And it's not easy. I'm just saying that's how I would do it. But yeah, I think Hamilton's going to win. Number 8, New Plymouth is playing number 15, Rotorua Boys. I know Rotorua Boys is on a high right now, holding the Moascar Cup, but I think New Plymouth Boys is going to win that one, which is at the Gully as well, I think. Silverstream and Rongotai. Silverstream is ranked number 10 in the country. They're playing Rongotai. I have Silverstream. Hopefully that one's on being live streamed, because I want to watch Riley again and see what he can do, and all the other guys as well. Like Patrick was another one that didn't really play. I want to see what Kobe's like. Some of the boys like Emmanuel and that, who are the year 11s on that team, I want to see what they're like as well and see what they can do. But yeah, I think Silverstream's a really good team, ranked number 10 in the country, and so they're on up. St Andrews is playing St Thomas, and if this is what history is about, and they're going to repeat what they did last year, which I was saying before, it's not going to be good. If it's going to be the same as last year, St Andrews is going to lose. The thing is, with St Thomas is such a good team as well, led by Cole, and so it's not going to be an easy game. So I'm just going to go with the pattern of what's happening right now to what was happening last year, and then I'm going to pick St Thomas to win this game over St Andrews, giving them the second loss of the season. Fielding's ranked 12th in the country, playing Whanganui Collegiate, and this was a game that I wanted to go to. It was supposed to be the same week as the lockdown. But now they've moved in, obviously no spectators, so I can't really go to that game. But hopefully that's being live streamed as well. I think I'll go Fielding on that one. Fielding to win that one. And then after that, the CNI go into semi-finals as well. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Wesley, because Wesley's obviously part of Auckland, or Auckland region, and so I guess they miss out on that spot, and they miss out on the playoffs, and so, yeah. It must be pretty sad for Wesley. Number 13, St. Pat's Town are playing Scots College on TV on Sky, and that's at 2:30. And I'm pretty interested to see what Scots are doing, and I think I have a feeling Scots is going to win this game. I think they're just playing so well, and they've put it all together, and I think that the Scots is looking good, and so yeah, I'll go Scots College on this. Kings High School, the 16th ranked Kings High School is playing Otago Boys. 2nd 15, I'll go with Kings. Christchurch Boys is ranked 18th in the country. They're playing Mid Canterbury Combine, and I think they're going to win that one. Number 20, Rangiora playing Nelson College, and I think Rangiora's on a high, and so I think that they're in a pretty good position, and they are sort of rolling right now with a lot of success, and Nelson coming off a loss and travel from last week going down to Christ College, and so I'll pick Rangiora on this. Christ College play Lincoln Combine, I'll go with Christ. Shirley play Timaru, who's already played. Timaru don't have to travel, so I think they'll be all right. But I'm picking Shirley. I'll pick Shirley on this matchup. St. Bede's have got to get a win out of this against Marlborough Boys. They've just got to play better than they did last week against Christchurch. And it was kind of disappointing. Because I know that's just not how they are. I know that's not how they are as a team, and I'm sure their captain, I'm sure George Meffin, really gave it to them, and even even the coaching would have really talked to them about it, and just picking themselves up for the rest of the season. So they really need to win this game, and especially against Marlborough Boys, who's a good side, and I guess need to restore some kind of confidence back in them as well. Gisborne versus Tauranga. I'm going with Tauranga on this one. Big one here in Waikato, where Cambridge is playing Te Aomuru. I think it's going to be another close game, but I think I'm going to go with Cambridge on this one. I think they're playing down here in Cambridge too. I'm not too sure. Yeah, that would have been a good one to go and see. St. Paul's travelled down to New Plymouth to play Francis Douglas Memorial, and I'm going with St. Paul's Collegiate on that one. Rathkill and Lindisfarne. I think Lindisfarne will win that game. In the Wellington competition, they've got Wellington versus Tower. I think Wellington's winning that one. Whited Up is playing St. Bernard's. I'll go St. Bernard's. Porirua and Hibs. I'll go with Porirua. Upper Hutt High School versus St. Pat's Town second 15, and I will go with Upper Hutt. And Kapiti versus Parapara Umu. I think I'll go with Parapara Umu on that one. Onslow College is playing Rongotai second 15. I'll go with Rongotai second 15. Hutt Valley High School is playing Scott's second 15. I'll go with Hutt Valley High School. Taita College versus Naina. I'll go with Taita, and I'm gonna go with Bishop VI College over Hibs second 15. UC Championship with the last game of theirs, Akaroa Combined versus Waimea Combined, and I'll go with Waimea Combined. Even though Waimea have to travel, I'll still go with Waimea Combined. I really like that forward pack. Otago first 15 is playing Dunstan. I think Otago is going to win that one with a few points, but the Southland and the St. Kevin's game is going to be a lot closer than I think people are going to think it is, because they're just used to Southland running amok most of the time and just waiting till they play all the bigger teams. But St. Kevin's, in the way that they're playing, I think that they're going to have a really good chance against Southland boys. Maybe not win, but I think they're going to push them. I think that they're going to push them, and I think it's going to be a better game than it has in previous years, if I can say that. Wakatipu High School against Combined. I'll go with Wakatipu. I'll go with John McGlashan over South Otago High School, and I'll also go with Mount Aspiring over Waitaki Boys. Just to round off all the games in the country, I haven't been able to find any Bay of Plenty ones, or the Taranaki games, or what the other ones. There were some ones from up north that got cancelled that were supposed to play on Wednesday. There were another one as well. Some of the Waikato games I couldn't find. Maybe I'll check again later on today, but and maybe get some then and find all the rest of the games. And I'm always interested in everybody's games. I'm always interested in who's playing and what the scores are and things like that. And so if I've missed your game, please send it through. I'm always keen to see who's playing and to see what's going on. I was watching, they had that thing on the news a few nights back, and they were talking about how, and they had the guy from the secondary schools in New Zealand jump on the news and say, and they were talking about young year 13s that were coming back because they were afraid of missing out on spots and not having enough time on the field and missing out on opportunities. And then they had the guy come on and goes, trust me, we have our guys looking out there, blah, 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 whatever. Now, this is why I get annoyed. I get so annoyed at New Zealand secondary schools. I get annoyed with New Zealand Rugby Union. I get annoyed with most of the provinces around the country, because I feel like a lot of them don't communicate with the boys that they are interested in signing, or they're interested in taking on next year. Then they're interested in wanting to have them a part of their development for next year. Like if this was happening now, and I kind of think about American players over there right now. So, all the high school players over there right now are probably all pretty scared because they need that footage. They need that footage to show all the scouts what they can do. They need the footage and they need the game time so that they can get recruited and they can get scouted and they can get scholarships. Now, it's not any different down here, even though we're not the same as what they are up there. It's no different though. You can't tell kids anymore that it's just about going to school is just about education when they find that there's guys that they went to school with when they were 14 years old making professionals, and they're only a year out of school and they're only 2 years out of school. You can't tell kids that anymore. Stop feeding them that lie. Stop feeding them that this is just recreational, because it's not for some kids. They're really gunning for this stuff. They're training hard for this stuff. You think they're training hard just to play on the Saturday? No, some of these guys have got bigger dreams than that. And the opportunities are different from all us guys that are around my age. So stop feeding them that stuff. Add on to it. Tell them they need an education at the same time as let's chase the dream that you want to chase. Yeah, this is a dream. Don't stop. And some of you kids that can make it this far into the podcast, and some of you are not because your listening skills are terrible. But when I was at school, it was like you played, and if something happened, cool. You had no real indication that you could make it. You just made it because you just made it, just because someone told you. But now it's different. Now you guys are in a position where there are people out there. The only bloody problem with that is that no one knows who they are. And for some reason, these guys want to go incognito and flipping Carmen Sandiego and be bloody ghosts on the field. It's like, why? Why are you guys ghosts for? The reason why these kids don't know that they're being scouted is because you guys don't want to say anything. You guys don't want to come out and go, I'm here to watch you. Or I'm here to watch some of your boys. Give them a heads up. Be known on the field. Like me and that guy from the news and from New Zealand secondary schools, me and him should go to the field. Guess who they're going to talk to? Me. Because I pay attention to them. They know that I'm here. They know that I come and watch them play. And I'm interested. I'm genuinely interested in how they do on the field. Where you fellas want to go watch from behind the tree or hide your notepad like in your jackets or under your umbrellas, write your thing and then put it back in your pocket. Like, what are you doing, man? You flipping weirdos? What are you doing? Just be honest with the kids. Be out there with the kids. Let them know that you're there to watch them. Let them know that you're interested in them, so they know where they stand, because they have no idea. That's the problem. You're saying like, yeah, we got people out there. Well, bloody make yourselves known. It's stupid. I don't know why you guys do this. And you know who I'm talking about. You who are listening to this as well, because I know you guys listen and jump on my website. I'm talking to you guys. Be out there. The worst thing in the world is, it's so weird. It's so weird that like it takes for, I don't know, the top four, where a bunch of you selectors all come in your New Zealand secondary school tracksuits and stand around the field, all just watching 4 games. 8 games over 2 days. You know, why don't you just show up to games like that, so they know that you're there? These kids are scared because they don't know if you're actually watching them. Flipping, give them some peace of mind and say, yeah, we're coming to the game. Let the coaches know, yeah, we're coming to the game. So the coach can tell them after he was at the game, he was there, or go and introduce yourself at the end of the game. You don't have to tell them who you're watching. Just have to tell them that you're there. Strange to me. Bunch of weirdos, some of you fellas out there that do the scouting for New Zealand secondary schools. And I don't know why you guys do it that way either. Oh, man. And it cracks me up too. Like, and I mean, like, you know who you are. You know who I am. Don't be weirdos like that, man. That's why all the kids know who I am. Because I openly talk about them. I give them my opinion on where I think that they stand in the country. If you guys just did your ones like I do, then they would have no problems with this. They would know that they're being watched and that you actually take notice of what they're doing and that they have some kind of point of reference of how good they're doing in your guys' eyes. Most kids jump on my website and they look at the top 200 rankings. They go, oh, okay, there's this guy, and this guy that are ahead of me, and there's about 3 other guys behind me that I think that are going to be challenging me as well. That's what most guys do. They come and look for where their name is, how many people are ahead of them, how many people are chasing them. And then they've got some kind of frame of reference as well. Do something like that with them. Why can't you pull them aside and talk to them about that kind of stuff? Make it known that you're present, man. I don't. It's strange. It really is strange, you fellas. But it's like, you think about it, right? Next year is going to be a massive year next year for our New Zealand secondary school team. It's going to be maybe one of the best that I have done on New Zealand secondary schools. 2013 was a really good team. New Zealand secondary schools, even though they lost to Fiji on that year, just name-wise, they were really good. They lost to Fiji. I think there was a bit of terrible selections on that. But anyways, 2018 was another one, I think it was, where they went over to Australia and just ran over them. And this year, and next year, is going to be another one of those teams. When you got guys like, for instance, right, you got Shay Clark, you got Taha Kemara, you got Dawson Smith, Jeremiah Asi, depending on which way he goes, whether that's going to be league or rugby, and he can pretty much make it in both. Ben Ake is another one, and I think with him is going to be another one, depending on where. Malasia is going to be another one. Flanders is going to be another one. Cooper Flanders, Tama Anderson, Will Stoddard, Junior Tulutau, Jade Stewart, Taylor Cahill, Chicago Doyle, Mefi Tupou, Tony Solomona, Torian Barnes, Cassius Cowley, depending on which way he goes, whether it's going to be rugby or league, because he's with the Warriors. Semisi is another one. Taialoa. Tankalose, Loti, Seville, Adam Fa'alolo is another one. Josiah Unga, Lino Tauti is another one. You know, all these guys are all top guys now, right? And these guys are all year 12s. All these kids that I named, you know, you still got Ananu Painga Morgan, you got Gabe Robinson, you got Siale Lawaki, even Centre is another one, Jack Harding, George Payne, all these kids, Andrew Smith, Maya, Tima Schmidt, on and on and on. All these guys are year 12s, right? And they're all actually ranked guys in the top 200 that are pushing year 13s. Okay, and like all those guys alone are just solid guys just on its own, and the main guys within their team. And then you've got these other guys that the news is talking about, all these young year 13s. I mean, AJ Faleafunga is a young year 13. Noah Hotham's a young year 13. These are just the ones that I know of. Luffle, Takiari Ching is another young year 13. I think Orion Kalolo is also another young year 13. You've got who's the other ones? There are a few other ones as well. Sam Howling is another young year 13. He's another one that can also come back. I think Raymond Tuputupu was another one that was a young year 13 who can also come back. Dominic Ropeti's another one that's a young year 13 from Scots College who can come back. All these guys are all guys that are solid even right now and that can all still come back and add to already the strong year 12s that we already have. And like, if you think about it, I was thinking about this today, right? If you had AJ Faleafunga come back, and he's the first 5, and I think he might be on the bench. If there's a New Zealand secondary schools, I'll still pick Jack Parker first. Then I'll pick AJ Faleafunga, and then depending on Taha, Kimura, or Dawson, if they're going to carry 3 first 5s. But if AJ comes back, that means you got AJ, Taha, Dawson, Jade Stewart, Cassius Cowley, depending on where he's going to go, Josiah Unga, Anaru, Pia Morgan, and Jack Harding, all as first 5s, who are all going to be in that bracket of contending for New Zealand secondary schools. Now that's a lot of first 5s with a lot of experience and only 3 spots. Now if AJ comes back, that's AJ, Taha, and Dawson, who are the guys that I would put in there for right now, who I'm thinking right now, who are the top right now. Those 3 would be the ones that I'll pick right now come next year. Even just those 3 alone, if you just took those 3, thinking about the progress, I wouldn't even know who to start out of those 3 guys, Taha, Dawson, and AJ. Because the other thing is that Jade Stewart is another one who is really, really close to what those other guys are doing. Jade can also play fullback. AJ Faleafunga is also a fullback. Dawson can play first 5 and second 5, I think. And Taha, I'm not sure if he can play fullback or in the midfield. I think he might strictly just be a first 5. But if you think of the possibilities and then trying to select a first 5 next year, if AJ comes back, is going to be a massive struggle for whoever the selectors are that's given to, pick out the first 5s that they like, because you've really got 7, 8 guys that you can choose from who are really, really solid first 5s, and you're really just picking at, you sort of come down to the small, intricate moments in games if you're going to choose which one is going to be better, and it is all going to come down to whatever game plan that you want to run. It's going to be the other one of who you choose. And even then, you're just going to be like, well, all 4 of these guys can do it. Do we pick one up and change someone into a different position, or, have to do one of those kind of things? I mean, like, what if Noah came back? I don't think he's going to come back. I don't even know if AJ is going to come back. And I was like, well, what if? Having Noah, Sam Howling, as well as Treya, who comes back after being injured this whole year from St. Kennigan's, he's another one. Yeah, that's another one you have to look at too. It's like, ooh, maybe he has an argument for why he should be there too. So there's a lot of guys that you can actually bring back, and this is why even the argument of having these young year 13s wanting to come back next year is like, well, give them some peace of mind. Let them know how they're doing in your guys' books and what they need to work on and what they're missing from their game that you want them to concentrate on. And then show them how to do it or what they need to do to better those areas of their game. One thing like a lot of kids don't know is how to do the drills to fix up what you're asking them to fix up. You're just saying, go and work on your defense, which is like a massive, massive amount of, well, what part of defense are you talking about depending on what position you're playing? Like, be real specific on what you're asking them to do and then giving them the programs and the drills and the proper technique lessons so they can do that kind of stuff. That's what's missing from some of these guys that are in these, selection teams and whatever rah-rah things you guys do. It annoys me. It does annoy me. Please, just go to the games and bloody tell them who you guys are. Or if you want to be a funny guy, just dress up in a New Zealand tracksuit and anyone can be a selector. How will the kids know? That's the problem. Make yourselves known. I'm going to, because I've been doing some of those rep teams as well, just my own selection, my own thoughts, my own teams that I would like to see, and I'm going to do the Crusaders one and the Highlanders one as well, but I think that they need some kind of rep teams. They need something. You guys can still use my idea. New Zealand secondary schools, you can use my idea. Even if you want help selecting, come to me, I will help select. I will find you all the players and invite the players and whatever you want me to do, just so that these boys have a chance and, to put on the jersey, and we can make a Tongan Barbarians and a Samoan and Fijian and a Māori team and have them all play against each other just to get some more, high level, high quality rugby teams together. So that you can still do your scouting, you can still do your, you can still sign up these guys for your development teams and provinces and have all the coaches and stuff come through and just let me know, I'll help. Don't be so proud just because I don't come from rugby. Man, you can't battle me on this, on what happens in first 15 rugby and who's to go. It's like, remember, when you sign up to my website, I get your guys' emails, what you sign up with. So you're on my website. And I know who you are and why you're on my website. So don't act like you don't ask for my help. No, you don't like directly ask for my help, but I see you when you're logged in. Right, buddy boy? Gosh. So proud, man. Just ask so we can help the kids. Just put these teams together so that they can have a game and guys can get all your coaches together. I even love that. I love when I like going to, like, whenever I go to the Chiefs under 18s, right? And sometimes I've been to the Blues and haven't been to the Hurricanes one. I've been sent stuff. I myself go and learn as well. I listen to the coaches. They clarify things for me too. I don't know everything. I just judge what I see. I break down games of rugby like I break down American football and basketball. But then they clarify it when I go to these things as well, and I film it. I go, oh, okay, that's what it means, or that's what you're doing, or that's like, I go there to learn too. All these kids and stuff as well. Get all these groups together. Get all these, all these Pacific Island teams or New Zealand teams together and go. We'll take all the best coaches that we have in New Zealand, which we have the best coaches in the world, and bring them all and teach all the kids. Because all these kids are pretty much going to be a part of the Jock Hobbs next year. If they can get it going again. Which I hope they do. Which I hope they get sponsorship for, because that's such a great, it's such a good tournament to have, that Jock Hobbs one, the under-19 one. And that's a stepping stone for kids as well. If you weren't a star in high school, that's fine. If you developed after, that's fine. Go to that Jock Hobbs, get ready for that. When you finish school and you go, I didn't even make the rep teams, fine, that's okay. Make sure you play some good club rugby, get yourself up to date, make sure that you get seen, and you can prove yourself again when you go to Jock Hobbs. You can get under 20s trial from playing a really good Jock Hobbs, getting noticed and going, oh, okay, yeah, I can prove myself, even though I didn't make it in high school. That's fine. High school's not the cutoff of your career. It's just a good step to have. You got to think about, some New Zealand secondary schools don't make the under 20s. You can make New Zealand secondary schools 2 years in a row and not make the under 20s. It's not a guarantee. It's not a foot in at all, to be honest. Because those are different guys judging the New Zealand secondary schools that select those people, are different guys doing the under 19s. So they're not bringing the same guys in. It's not that at all. It's pretty much a clean slate and going, oh, okay, this is the Jock Hobbs now. Let's just see all these guys, and then they get different reports from them. It's like, oh, what's this guy like at club rugby? Okay, that's cool. What's he like in this? More like, has he been playing under 19s, or has he been playing seniors, or whatever? That kind of stuff. So even if you don't have a good first 15 and you're just a role player, you're just solid, that's fine. Just get that goal and be like, sweet, I'm just going to make my under 19s, go to Jock Hobbs, and I'll prove myself again. You can still do it. There's still different avenues. But obviously, if you need help, man, just come to me for some help. I'm happy to help. I want to help. I want these kids, especially the kids that are in New Zealand secondary schools, talent, that have been trying to, and they have set these goals to make these teams. Just pick a team and let them have that tick on their board of, I made this team. This is all the hard work that I did to make this team, and we made it. Even if they don't travel, at least we can have games here. Do all the COVID procedures that you need to do, whatever. It'll just be great for the game. It'll be great for their spirits. It will keep them wanting. They would want to stay here. And there's still plenty of opportunities to leave, but they would want to stay here if you guys get on board with them. If it's finance, man, you guys got some brains. There's someone there that knows how to figure this stuff out. Just try and figure it out. I guess that's what they get paid for, isn't it? The Moascar Cup, I think I'll just touch on this a little bit, right? And I think it's just something that needs to change, is the rules. I think the New Zealand Barbarians are the ones that change those rules, or they have set those rules, but kids don't know what it is. Kids need to find out what it is, and kids need to know how important it is for your school to have it. That's why it was a big deal that Rotorua boys won it from Napier boys. But the other thing is that sometimes those schools know how important it is to have it. They know how important it is to have it, and they've had that before, and they I guess the history wants them to bring it back. Rotorua boys knew how important that was. And I'm sure the coaches took them and told them, we need this back. And I'm sure Napier talked to their guys and said, we can't lose this. Hamilton boys are going to be looking at Rotorua boys and say, we've got to get that. Auckland Grammar's got to be looking at those guys too and go like, let's set up a game with one of these guys. If Hamilton boys end up having it, hold on, let's do an emergency traditional game against Hamilton boys if they win it off Rotorua boys. Auckland Grammar's going to want to get it too. People that have held it, they're going to want it back. But the thing is it's only travelling through the bigger schools and mainly just up north. It's got to get to the South Island as well. That's why when Stack had it a few years back, they didn't even hold it for that long, I don't think. Maybe a few games or so, something like that. And then Nelson grabbed it, or I can't remember who got it. But they need to put that trophy up all the time. It can't just be a home thing. It needs to go through as much hands and as much schools as possible, so that it doesn't lose its aura and effect and importance at the same time. Because if you don't see it and it doesn't get talked about, the kids don't care, because the kids are changing out all the time. So to give kids an opportunity to actually win it and have a chance at winning it, and so that it is actually talked about. Right, so it's never going to get talked about. It's never going to be special anymore. I think my school, Church College, only won it once, and we only had it for like a game or something like that. But after that, it was like nothing. So there's got to be some kind of changes on that. There's got to be something where, well, to be honest, I think it should be put up every game. Should always be talked about. There should be some incentive to end up with it at the end of the year, in terms of, like, I don't know, some money that goes towards your first 15 or your sports department or something like that, or an extra scholarship, or I don't know, something like that anyway. But just to make it a big deal, just to make it relevant and important and something that the boys want to do and want to play for and want to get, and have it in their trophy cabinet at the end of the year. Now, if I'm Rotorua Boys, I'm going to do everything that I can to keep that thing right at the end and have it for the whole season, and then once summer hits around, it's in their cabinet. Hamilton Boys are going to look at it and be like, yeah, we need to get that thing. I know Nigel and them are going to want to have that at the end of the year. And if I was a coach of the school, if I was like a sports director or something, like whoever has it towards the end of the year and it's getting a bit long in the year before sevens at start, would be like, how about we just have an impromptu game for that Moascar Cup? We'll travel to you, so that we have a chance to keep that and get it back. Especially if it gets lost in your competition. Remember, like, once it goes down south, or even the guys down south are thinking about it up here and being like, well, no one from down south really comes up here to challenge it. You just have to wait. If I was a south team, I'd try and send something up. Set up a game or something. But there's got to be some kind of incentive for you to want to have it at the end. And that's what I think it is. There's got to be some kind of incentive. Whatever that is, or whatever it's money, or if it's opportunity, or if it's scholarship or something, there's got to be something attached to it so that the boys don't lose faith in what it is. And so I think it's just one of those things that they just need to maybe have a look over the rules to it and the restrictions and who's this? Yeah. Anyways, that's all I got for now. It's going to be another full weekend of games, which is going to be cool because, even though I don't get to go to games, it just means that I get to, I guess, sit at my house and just live stream all the games and just take my notes and stuff on all the games, and which is cool as well. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyways, this is High School Top 200. Thank you for coming in. Please click on all the ads, all that kind of stuff if you've got this far into the podcast. Like, subscribe, comment, share, tell all your friends about it, whatever. Hush from. Peace.